I keep seeing the book in front of us that we're going to review today, and I'm just like, let's just talk about the book.
I mean, we could skip ahead to the book.
That's probably not wise. All right. So, what have you been working on? Because this is technically a knitting podcast. We should talk about our knitting.
Yes. Okay. What have I been working on mostly? I suppose mostly I've been working on getting caught up on the 365 Granny Squares project that Knit Club is doing.
Only three of us. Only three of us
Okay.
are doing it.
Three of us from Knit Club are doing 365 Granny Squares. The idea being that you'd learn a new, different Granny Square every day, and then at the end of the year you have 365 unique Granny Squares to make blankets, bags, whatever.
2 ginormous Afghans that you can cover your whole house in. So many squares.
So I started out the year by being away for 2 weeks, and then when I got back, I was sick for almost another 2 weeks. It was like a week and a half.
Yeah, you were sick for a while.
I had whatever flu thing.
You were
I was
away.
just bedridden.
You were in Europe, running around doing Europe-y touristy things. And
I was climbing mountains and
buying
drinking scotch,
stuffed dragons,
hunting for Nessie. Yeah, but I paid for it and spent the next week and a half in bed.
Literally.
So I've been a consistent 20 or 30 squares behind the entire time. I am now doing just generic Granny Squares, just trying to catch up. Got a lot of generic Granny Squares to go.
Hey, the lady who spearheaded this project, who was like, hey, Jocelyn, you know what we need to do next year? We need to learn to crochet. And once you get to know me, you'll understand that my response to just about anything new is, okay. I went, okay, in like early December, late December. I think it was a week before New Year's. I finally picked up a crochet hook and yarn and tried to make myself just a basic single crochet, across, go up, single crochet, and come back. That turned into a trapezoid triangle shape really quickly, and my goodness, my crochet was drunk. I don't know what I was picking up, but it wasn't the right stitch. Then on the first, we just dived right into it. And again, noting, I'm dealing with some long-term health issues, so there's going to be some interesting in the early parts of the podcast, because I know in April, poor Diana has to trek out to me here in the suburbs of Winnipeg, because I will literally be on recovery from a surgery coming up here shortly at the end of the month. So that'll be fun. I'll be stuck in bed. So I am attempting at the moment to get ahead on the Granny Squares, because I know for sure the day of the surgery I won't be doing a Granny Square. The day after the surgery I'm not going to be doing a Granny Square. And I'm pretty sure another additional 2 or 3 days after that I'm not going to want to do Granny Squares.
I'm going to say like a solid week you're not going to be up for much.
No, I'm thinking I'm going to give myself a good 4 or 5 day window and be ahead by 4 or 5 days, so that way if I don't feel like it till day 7 or 8, I'm only catching up 2 or 3 days. So that's currently where I'm trying to get with that project, because I will describe my crochet square for yesterday and today later. Yeah.
That's a knitting attack?
Oh my goodness. Are you working on anything else?
I am also working on, I have a pair of vanilla socks on the go for my dad. I'm trying out the Fish Lips Kiss Heel by Socks Therapist, which involves tracing people's feet, which is a little bit weird. But actually totally worth it, because it made a perfectly fitting sock. I was so sure it was too short or too small or too something, and it's absolutely perfect, and the heel is beautiful. And
Dad's put the sock on to test it out?
Yeah, my dad put the sock on just after I finished the heel, because I was so sure it was too small, and it was absolutely the right size, exactly.
So what we're taking away from this is foot forms are your friend.
Yeah, so the Fish Lips Kiss Heel is totally worth the $1 it costs on Ravelry.
Perfect. I will take a look at it, because I have yet to knit a pair of socks. It is on my list of things. Hey, I have the sock yarn. I have the right size needles.
That's most of the steps.
We're almost ready to just make a project bag for it and go. I've been working on a couple of things, as I work from home, so my work schedule is when I get up in the morning I do my work, and then I'm done, and then the rest of my day I fill with either more work or running errands and doing adulty things, because, you know, adulting, it's a thing. Or babysitting my niece.
That's adulting.
I live with my niece and my sister and my brother-in-law-to-be. We all share a house, so it works really well for us, and it means they have a built-in babysitter, and I have a way to get rides to go places, because, you know, when you're visually impaired, they give you a mobility assistance cane, they take away your driver's license. It's totally fair. I should not be driving. I do not see enough to drive. I would be very, very dangerous. But getting around in a province where just about everybody drives and it's very, very flat and everybody builds out and not up.
And busing in the suburbs. Busing to the suburbs is okay.
Busing out of the suburbs
Trying to leave the suburbs
is so complicated.
It's like freaking Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
You're just trapped and you're like, how did I get stuck here? It makes no sense. All of the suburbs are like that. Outside of the core, busing is incredibly, I'm going to use the word interesting. That's not the word it's not the word I use when I'm at the bus stop, but it's the word I'm going to use here because
bus stops at -40 are interesting.
Oh my god, bus stops at -40 are just awful. You regret life decisions like putting on pants and leaving your house. And you think, is it really necessary? The funny thing is I wrote the show notes for myself. I wrote my own show notes in a size font. I still have to put it under a magnifying glass.
But you wrote it. And
I wrote it in my giant font, but I just barely can't read it today. Oh, man. Oh, we were working on what we were working on. What we're working on. I was working on this spearmint tea shawl by Katerina. I'm going to mispronounce his last name, Guldavana. I have it on my Ravelry page, so we can certainly find it there. I'm doing it in the Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable yarn in the colorway Polio. I definitely wouldn't call that colorway Polio. It's a really wonderful sort of variegated color rotation of like fall, like full-blown fall, because you got the golds and the reds and the muted greens and a little bit for the sky blues and stuff. So it's like a beautiful, you're walking through the trees and everything's gone, I need to be all the colors.
Like early fall kind of.
Yeah, it is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm trying to make that fingering weight shawl, which again I will describe later how that one's going. You working on anything else?
Yeah, I signed up for the Strickmich. No, I'm going to say this right.
Sure.
Strickmich Club. No, I still did that wrong. Anyway, Martina Vein's knitting club. So I'm going to get 4 packages this year, each with exclusive club colorways and exclusive Martina Vein patterns.
That pink yarn that you got? Oh my
god,
so
I'm
pretty.
I'm just going to gush about this yarn for a minute. It's 70% wool, 30% silk in this pink colorway, but it's like a sort of a slightly tonal colorway, and it's like a little bit shiny from the silk. It's a really pretty color.
I want to call it Country Rose.
It's Remembering Rose.
Oh, I'm close.
Is what it's actually called. It's Nature's Luxury Sheep en Soie in the Remembering Rose colorway. The pattern is the Belle Rose shawl, which will probably come out on Ravelry in about 6 months, I think. But yeah, it's essentially a garter stitch shawl with lace short row bits on the edge.
Oh, nice.
So it's got like fluttery little short row extra bits.
You're describing that pink wasn't really a color that you wore, and I'm just like, I wear pink.
Yeah, so I might be knitting a Christmas present for Jocelyn.
Woohoo! Super pretty pink shawl. I'll take it. Yeah.
Don't even care. This yarn is so gorgeous.
You came in and you showed it to me, and I was just like, oh, you need to bring this to Knit Club so we can all feel this, and then just go in and buy a bunch of it and have it shipped here from Germany, because that needs to happen. Yeah.
What else are you working on?
Oh, hey, we're getting the cues. Oh, my nose. I have the Misty Diagonal Rib Shawl. Diagonal Rib Shawl, I can speak. It's by Sue Conway. It's another free Ravelry download. You can find it pretty easily. And again, it's on my Ravelry page. I'm doing it in the Loops and Threads colorwork way of earth tones. Now, I work with a lot of stuff that I have up close to my face because Mr. B is incredibly allergic to a lot of wool. I haven't found a wool blend variation that he doesn't sort of break out in a rash when it's near him. So I work with a lot of acrylics when I'm putting them up close to my face, and it might be something that I would wear around him. And we go on what people consider epically long walking journeys.
They're pretty epically long.
We're gonna say, I guess we'll be walking like upwards of 2 hours, several times a week out in the cold. So like scarves and shawls and things I can layer up are super big musts, a bazillion layers. So I like to try to stay away from a lot of the wool blends that I'll wear in clothing, because I wouldn't want him to come in contact with it and then be itchy and red and angry. And so yeah. It's a very pretty green color work way with little flecks of brown in it, and it's a wonderfully easy pattern. It's only an 8-row repeat, so it's like, I'm at the point now where I've memorized it. I'm over 22 inches into it, and it's going to be 53 or 54 inches when I'm done. So
that's the thing that's magically 6 inches longer every time I see it, even if I see you every day?
yes, because when you knit with a size 6 bulky yarn, 6 inches is one TV show.
Man, I gotta stop with this fingering weight stuff.
Like, the reason I may never leave worsted weight, I feel really accomplished after I've done stuff in the worsted and bulky weight, because it's like, whoosh, hey, look at all that growth I did. I wasn't knitting for that long. What are people talking about? Knitting doesn't take that long. I'm working in my fingering weight shawl. I'll never finish.
Yeah.
For me, that's pretty much the extent of what I'm working on, because I'm obviously also doing the 365-day granny project. Oh, my mom's Afghan.
Oh, yes.
Because I don't, and again, it's going to sound repetitive the first time out, but I don't see very well, so I have to feel my stitches. So when I was learning the crochet stitching, rather than doing the granny square repetitively every day for a series of days to get the tension right, I dived in and started looking at different patterns right away, called my mom up and said, I'm making you a granny square Afghan because I need to practice basic granny squares, but I don't want that to be the bulk of my first month of project work. My mom replied with, it had to be big enough that I could curl up under on the couch. I am 5 feet 10 inches tall. I am not a short woman. I am not a narrow woman. I am built like your standard fantasy bar wench. Diana laughs, but it's true.
I'm laughing because I suddenly had this image of you in a bar wench costume. I could totally see you doing Comic-Con like that.
I am a very tall bar wench. This is the perfect description of how my life works. So my wingspan is stupid long, and my legs are equally as dumb long, and it's generally why I've been sewing so much my whole life, because there is no such thing as a skirt the right length for me. I buy petite pants to use them as capris, because capris are like walking shorts on me, and walking shorts are like short shorts on me. So much of my length is in my legs that the height variation's all off. And there's no such thing as pants that are long enough for me in the long. I have to specialty order from a tall girl shop over in the UK to get pants that are long enough for me. So like, there's a lot of leg mileage going on. So there is no such thing as a lap Afghan out of the store that will cover me from toes to shoulders. They're too short. I can get them up about bust height on the long ones, but that's about it. So my mom she's gonna get mad at me, says she's 5'5". She's not quite 5'5". We're like 5'4" and a bit. She's 5'5" in her shoes, so we're gonna go with 5'5". Admittedly, much smaller than I am. Once an Afghan, I can wrap myself up in. So she's going to drown in this thing that I have created for her, because I can curl up under it where it is now, and I'm just finishing the outside edge squares. I got about another 18, 22 more squares to go, and this is like an 80 square project, so like we're into the final. And yes, I've been sewing in my ends, and I've been putting it together, so I'm almost actually done creating it. It's almost finished. Shocking, I know. And I'm gonna almost drown in it, so I don't know what my mom's gonna do with all of this Afghan. It's miles too big for her, but that's what she wanted, so there's no pattern for it. It's literally granny squares, mattress stitched together till it was big enough to be an Afghan.
It's a really good looking Afghan.
I'll have to take some photos of it and post it on Ravelry when I'm done. But that's it for what I'm working on.
I sort of almost have another thing.
Ooh.
In that I'm going to freaking start that Even Star shawl. Like I've been talking about for 2 weeks.
Your wedding's next August. I might recommend picking up some speed on that one.
Yeah, so it's the Even Star shawl pattern by Susan Pandorf.
If you have ever Googled or Pinterest wedding shawls,
You've probably seen it.
You've seen it. This is epically beautiful shawl.
It's like a 4 and a bit foot wingspan circular shawl.
She's gorgeous.
With 3,000 beads on the edge. So that'll be good. I've never beaded a thing in my life. I'm gonna learn how to bead.
You're totally learning the Jocelyn way. I don't know how to do this deep end. Whoosh, poof.
Well, there's 4 beads at the end of the Martina Vein shawl.
Okay.
So I can learn
Practice?
on 4 beads.
Okay, we can practice.
And then I can do it 3,000 more times.
Oh my god. In line with the weather, I have been wearing my lightning fast mittens that was it's a free Ravelry project download, but actually I got it as a Christmas present from Diana with the yarn to make it. It is a wonderful purple pink yarn. I've got to post photos because I've got the project on the project boards. But I've been wearing those because, oh my goodness, cold winds, cold hands, mittens, super important. And I've been wearing I hate saying it, the technical term for the project is the Pussy Hat Project. Really hate that title. I usually go with Kit Kat, which I know is one of the other things that floats around for it. And there was it was for the Women's March that it first initially came up, and I heard about it through the Knitmore girls, and I went and I looked it up and was like, yes, I need a hat with cat ears on it. So I made that, and I've been wearing that a lot this week because again, it's minus 20-ish.
Minus 20 cold.
Minus 20 cold in my province right now, and I don't stay at home when it's that cold. I still go out and bus. So hats are handy. And the winds when we were coming home from lunch on Tuesday were
insane.
Epic. They were epic. I was surprised Diana being shorter and not as buxom in the bar wench mentality as I am. I was surprised she didn't grab a hold of my coat to stay grounded because there was a lot of wee going on beside me.
If that bridge was any slipperier and my coat any billowier.
Billowier, that's not a word.
Yeah, it is now.
Okay.
It is not a billowy coat. It is a standard winter parka.
Mm-hmm.
But if it were billowier, I probably would have gotten blown off the bridge.
I was just about airborne in some spot.
That was insane.
And I grew up as a child in the capital city of Nunavut, so I'm used to winds like that. So it's like, and I was like, oh nope, that's a whole different way of walking when you have those kinds of winds.
That is a rough wind.
But what have you been wearing the last week or so here?
What have I been wearing? I have my sock head hat, which I made out of leftovers. No, that's not it. Sock toe. I don't know. Some blue self-striping leftover sock yarn. I made myself a hat. I wear the matching socks. Basically those my hand knit socks. I have one pair. They never make it back into my sock drawer because I just wear them straight out of the laundry. As such, one of them sprouted a hole last time, so it's gone through the wash again, and now I have to mend it before I can wear them again, so they're sitting sadly on the drying racks to remind me.
Mending needs to happen.
I have my crocheted hat that I wear sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
which I looked up is called the Lindsay slouch.
Oh my.
It has a tie at the top, so you can actually pull it down, and it can be a cowl. I never wear it as a cowl.
You always wear it as a hat.
It's a hat.
I've never seen you wear it
I
as a cowl.
don't wear cowls.
Yeah.
I like scarves. I don't do cowls.
I'm a massive scarf fan. Shawls. I like the triangle ones because then you can bunch them up like a scarf.
Yes.
Or pull them out
other
like a
thing,
shawl.
I've been wearing my rainbow side shawl, which is the meadow side shawl pattern, but I did it in rainbowy colors.
Why not?
And I wear that as a scarf a lot, or occasionally a hat when I forget a hat, and then it turns into a headscarf, which is nice and cozy.
So true, I have one cowl, but I haven't worn it. I will have worn it by the time we podcast again, because I have to be out Friday night for F&M, and it's going to be a cold walk home. Oh, I'll describe it next week.
The other thing I wear is my green cabled scarf, which I can't find a pattern for, and I don't have a Ravelry project for, because I knit it way back before I was on Ravelry. It's several years old.
People discover Ravelry, and they're like, woohoo!
Yeah.
It's an electronic place to store all my weird stuff. Yay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that scarf's from at least 2 years before Ravelry, for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
What have you been wearing?
Oh, mostly just my knitted mittens and my knitted hat recently, but when I'm in the house, I don't really look for things. I need to, want to cast on my very first in the navy blue cardigan, because I keep doing sweaters, but I'm not a pullover sweater person. I'm a cardigan person, so I think I need to start one of those. So it'll be finished, for high summer when it's plus 30. I'll really want to wear it then.
You're getting a head start on the annual fall. The knitting festival in New York is called Rhinebeck.
Sure.
Rhinebeck. It's the annual Rhinebeck sweater.
I'm getting a head start on Rhinebeck. Stash and Dash. Insert any million of other knit-alongs I will probably get suckered into this year.
Yep.
Because I can't seem to help myself, because my answer to everything is sure. We're planning a party to go shoot Nerf guns on a trampoline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see, and I'm very poorly coordinated, because I can, again, if this was a video podcast, I would show you the scar on my foot where I dropped a razor on my foot in the shower. I bust my toes and my fingers all the time. I'm They can tell you if I haven't gone to the emergency room in the last 6 weeks, we're counting our stars because something's gone sideways.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised when you were like, Nerf guns on trampolines, I'm in!
Yeah.
Is that a great idea? I don't know.
Super not safe. I am so going to be injured when we leave this place, and I cannot wait to go shoot Mr. B in the head with a Nerf gun. So hope he can come and he's not working that day, because I want to just jump up and down and go, ha ha ha! Pow!
I haven't...
Pew, 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 pew!
It might not even be that day. I was just like, this is a random day in the future.
We can pick another date if it doesn't work for everybody. I want to go shoot everybody with Nerf guns.
I think on Saturday nights they actually do like glow in the dark stuff.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. So I think it's not going to be on a Friday or Saturday night.
Can we go on another night where those lights are on?
Yeah,
I can't even glow bowl, and I have awards for bowling.
Yeah, I will specifically request some extra lighting on the court.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, can the blind lady have an extra light switch turned on? That'd be great, thanks. That's all I need.
Yeah, so we won't go on one of the glow nights.
That'd be super awesome, or I'll miss a trampoline, and that'll just...
Yeah, I'm gonna call and ask about that this week.
The next trip, everybody gets to follow me to the emergency room, because I'm getting my leg casted. Hey! I don't rent crutches. I have my own set.
Oh my goodness.
That is how klutzy I am.
Oh.
So, with that in mind, that's on one of my goals this year is to do some cardigans and stuff, and I really like the calligraphy cardigan. Oh, who's it by? It's on my Ravelry. I could be able to find it. It's in my 50 billion pages of cute things I want to make. Alana Dakos?
That sounds right.
I think it's an Alana Dakos one, but it's just a super, super pretty classic cardigan, and my brain's like, I have 50 million cardigans. I need at least 12 more.
At least.
In different colors. I have white ones and red ones and blue ones and green ones and multicolored ones. I don't have a navy blue one, so...
Yeah, we need one for each, temperature range, so, minus 40 to minus 30, and then 30 to 20.
Yeah.
And all the way up to,
one for every day of the week.
Obviously, yeah. We live in a province where you can have 1 million cardigans and nobody will question you.
Because...
You need a cardigan every day for, 4 months. This past weekend,
it was plus 4 degrees outside, and this week it's minus 20.
Yeah.
All in Celsius, and that's in the span of less than 6 days.
Yeah.
So,
And next week it's going to be warm again.
Oh, we're going back to warm again?
Yeah, apparently.
We say warm as though we're, living in southern Texas or something, right? We're talking, 2 degrees above zero in the Celsius department.
You know what? Warm enough that things melt.
I was wearing my spring coat last weekend. It was anywhere from, minus 4 to plus 4. Was the temperature range. It was gorgeous. I was outside without scarves or mittens. It was great.
No.
I saw somebody walking around the other day in shorts and a hoodie.
It's not that warm.
That's a little too Canadian for me.
Yeah. It's not that warm.
It's a little too Canadian. I think I'll wait on that one. Yeah. I will do the flip-flops and coat thing, though.
What?
I will wear a coat outside with flip-flops don't I really, really love flip-flops. I also don't like when my feet are hot and gross. I'm weird. I don't want my feet to be cold, but I don't want them to be sweaty, warm, gross. I don't like that.
My feet are always cold, so it doesn't matter.
My feet aren't always cold, so it's a thing for me. Alright. We gotta get to this book review at some point, eh?
Yeah, are we doing the book review now? Or...
We can do the book review now. Has any of your knitting attacked you?
I have one knitting attack.
You got attacked by one thing. I got attacked by 2 things.
Do you want to do a thing and we can alternate the things?
Sure. The first thing that attacked me was my spearmint tea shawl. I'm still at the really beginning, early stages of the shawl, and I know better. I should still have it on a pair of straight needles and then transfer it to the circular needles when I have to. It's easier for me to see the color contrast and maintain untwisted stitches. So I've figured out as I've gone through that I've definitely messed up 2 of the previous rows before me. So I got a frog, tink, rip, whatever you want to call it. I got to take off 2 rows, and at that point I'm on row 2. So I'm just going to rip back to the beginning and cast it on to straight needles till I've got that established section of it. So it's a lot. Again, I'm gesturing. I'm on an audio podcast. I'm holding my hand out in a width apart. I could probably do it till I'm about row 15 or 20. And then I'm going to have to transfer it to circular needles. But at that point, I'm going to have a much better feel for the pattern. And I'm going to have a much larger piece of fabric yarn section completed to go, ha-ha, before I get too far along and miss things. But that was this morning. It was like, no! Pshoo! I'm like, oh, man. So much for knitting this morning. That wasn't going so well for me. What about yours?
Mine, you heard all about it for about 2 weeks. That's
Jeez.
that Belle Rose shawl it's not difficult. It's actually quite an easy pattern. But for some reason, row 13, I had to knit it 3 or 4 times because I was somehow missing a stitch every single time. I would count at the beginning of row 13 and I had the proper number of stitches. But at the end of the row, which I was so sure I had done properly, it was only like 20-something stitches. At the end of the row, I was missing a stitch. 3 or 4 times I knit that stupid row. I got it right now. I'm past row 13.
I remember that photo from, what did you send me the photo on? You sent it on, Snapchat. You're like, I'm past row 13!
I just got past this weekend.
Hey, you got past it. That's what counts. I am still desperately trying to cast on another shawl in the... Oh, all my S's today. In a worsted weight. So this is a clearly seeable yarn in a beautiful, beautiful spring green color on a nice, super contrasty needle. I should not have a problem casting on 2 stitches and doing a triangle shawl increase. I have now attempted to start this shawl 6 times.
That's impressive.
Currently sitting in my spot looking at me because it's in a timeout. Because I know, admittedly, I'm learning new stitches because I like to pick a project with something I've never done before every time I start something, so I'm constantly learning new things. But I definitely have. We'll try probably again on Sunday at Knit Club. I will try again. So everybody can watch me swear at this thing yet again. I will get there, and I will win. I just have to have more patience than my knitting, and if I can move a mountain, I can conquer this. So.
That's the one with the weird lifted bar.
Yeah, it's got
this weird gooey thing and put the bar back.
It's a variation on the lettuce lace. Pattern.
Right, yeah, that one. Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks freaking beautiful, and once I've got my brain wrapped around it, it's just gonna fly like butter because it's a simple repeat, but. Oh, so pretty. We'll have to link it in the show notes because I don't, again, off the top of my head, I don't remember the name of the designer or the name of the shawl itself, and I'm pretty sure I would pronounce it wrong anyway. It's some sort of very, very long name translated from German. Town shawl.
The German name town shawl.
The German name town shawl. We'll link that in show notes. I think that'll be better because, I feel bad when I butcher things.
It's alright. I butchered Strickme again for the 3rd or 4th time.
Why not? Just practice.
I can say it properly. I have said it properly. I just can't do it today.
Sure, whatever. That's fine. Words aren't that important, right? We're not,
doing an audio podcast
where words are important. All right. Last but not least, we should do our book review for the week.
Yeah. So this is a random book off my shelf of knitting books. I think I got this as a present from somebody a year or so ago.
I remember you got it about a year or so ago, but I don't remember if you got it as a present or it was because you bought it from Knit Picks. Because you got it at the same time you got those new those circular needles you got, those really pretty interchangeable ones.
I'm pretty sure this one was a present.
Was that one a present?
I think so. I think Kayla gave me this one.
Okay.
Anyway, it is Pride and Prejudice, 12 Genteel Knitting Projects Inspired by Jane Austen by Trixie Von Pearl.
All I know is I saw the book cover and I got really excited and went, knit me a Darcy!
Yes, the knitted Mr. Darcy still has not happened.
Knitted Mr. Darcy! He needs to go in my shelf with my Jane Austen books! It has to happen! Alright, if you want, you can start.
Sure. Where do I want to start here?
That I couldn't tell you.
Maybe I will start by describing the book a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. For the sake of editing, I will now describe the book a little bit. No, bad edit. Okay.
Bad edit.
I was purposely cheesy on that one.
Oh.
I wasn't trying to be good.
Yeah, the urge to keep things for random director cuts of mistakes is going to be very high, isn't it?
Okay. So the book, it starts out with a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch, some basic patterns for the men dolls and the women dolls, plus like trousers and shoes.
I
and
like
just,
that they have it all in the one spot in the book. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I
Yeah,
like
so
that
that's-
it's all there. You don't have to go looking around in the different patterns to try to figure out your basic techniques. So I really appreciate that.
So then the rest of the book is kind of organized into scenes, and then all the specific stuff in the scene that's not covered in the basic patterns is covered in each scene.
They're telling a story through pictures
Yeah.
of knitted dollies.
It's kind
I'm
of
an
like
adult.
Mochi Mochi Land style.
Some of them are definitely small enough to be in the Mochi Mochi Land style.
Yes. Yes, so these are all knit out of sock weight yarn on... the female dolls are done on US size 2 needles, and the male dolls are done on US size 3 needles, so they come out just a little bit bigger.
I don't know, man. Men and women can be the same size and
They
be
can
partners.
be the same size, yes. I believe there was a line in there about, however, if you want them to be the same size, just use the same
I'm
size
the same
needle.
size as my partner. He slouches. I'm the same size as my partner.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you're taller.
Nope, he slouches. Occasionally I make him stand up straight, and then all of a sudden he's the same height as I am.
I've never noticed that. I just assumed you were like a good few inches taller.
Nope. No,
He's just very slouchy.
he's very slouchy, and when he stands up straight, like, you'll see it at the wedding when he's in his suit, he can't slouch in his suit, so you will finally see him at the proper height. There you go, that's why you're getting married, so you can see my boyfriend at the proper height.
Yes, that's totally why I'm getting married. What? Wait.
Wait, what? What were your overall thoughts on the book? Or were there patterns that you liked? Scenes, if you will?
Notes-wise, I kind of went scene by scene and just wrote down a couple of notes. I didn't, analyze every single pattern, just, if one left out at me, I put little hearts next to it or something.
That's fair, that's exactly what I did.
I also didn't write out the entire name of the scene, because some of them are very long.
I did. I'm crazy.
Okay, do you want to lead this part then? Because I have Netherfield ...
Neverfield ... Nice. At the beginning part of the book, in with the basic techniques, it tells you how to use the book, which I always find a really good primer, because sometimes you'll get books, they'll be structured slightly differently, so if you've got one that is different than other ones on your shelf, or you're looking at, sometimes it'll make a bit of a confusion as to what page you need to go to do what things. Also really like the fact that they didn't teach you how to knit and purl.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
In a beginning knitting book, please teach me to knit and purl. It's something that's requesting me to knit in the round in a size 2 and create little doll clothes and structured things and uses advanced techniques. I'd rather have, and they did in their technique section, had the advanced techniques written out for you and the abbreviations all in one spot for you, but they didn't go,
Yeah.
this is how you knit, with the compulsory photo of stationary knitting occurring. Which,
yeah, so that makes this very much not a beginner
no, this
book.
is not a beginner book.
I wouldn't even call this an advanced beginner book. It is
No.
decidedly intermediate in my mind.
Decidedly intermediate. It is not even advanced beginner, it's intermediate. The first scene is Neverfield Park is let at last. The only thing that really jumped out at me, again, being a massive Jane Austen fan, you'd be like, Jocelyn, we'll put hearts all over the book! No. There were bits and pieces in some scenes. There were some scenes I want the whole thing done. There's a couple I'm just like, I don't have free double points in that right size, but I suspect I'm going to go buy some and the right color yarn, and some of these scenes are going to happen because they have to, and I'll just get help with the small detail stuff I can't do. But in the Neverfield Park one, I really want to make the armchair.
That's actually the only one I hearted. I like the armchair.
Want to make the armchair?
The armchair is great.
I just want a little stuffed armchair on my bookcases.
I know.
I have a bazillion books. This is a rough estimate. And probably not that far off. And I just think on one of my bookshelves, just having a little stuffed armchair in front of the bookshelf.
That'd be adorable.
Wouldn't that be so cool?
You could get one of those little porcelain tiny tea sets for
Yes, I
dolls
could.
or something.
Yes,
and
I could.
Stick it on them.
Just on a little table tray. We could make a whole series of things out of this book that just go on my bookshelves to make my bookshelves super crafty looking, because I don't pull books off of them all the time. Oh my gosh. Can you just imagine my next question? Ben, I've dropped my little miniature teacup. Can you help me find my teacup, please? And watch him go, how big is it? Oh, the size of your thumbnail. Why do you own that? Because it's pretty. And I dropped it on the floor. Now I can't find it. But yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with this scene. It was a really well done scene. It's just the only thing that sort of drew my attention when I was looking through the patterns. Behind it was that armchair, and I just went, no, I have no reason to need an armchair. I want a knitted stuffed armchair. That might have to happen. I'm glad that was the other one that caught your eye, because I was wondering what had caught your eye and what hadn't caught your eye. Normally, if we're not reviewing the book, we're just like, look at this pattern!
What else is in the...
Which we were doing before the podcast. I was showing you the magazines I got, and I was like, hello, look at all the new things we need to add to our list.
Yeah, so the other stuff was... There's a dress and a waistcoat, and yeah, it's pretty much... The dress, the waistcoat, and the chair.
Yeah.
Are the...
Well, it's because all the other stuff is the basics.
Yeah.
That was covered earlier, so his trousers, his shirt.
This chair.
It's just the chair. I really want the chair.
Flipping adorable chair.
I'd go absolutely nutters making it, but it's the same with like in the Mochi Mochi stuff, which is way too small for me to see. I still want to make a treasure chest.
A treasure chest that's like 6 stitches wide.
Yes.
I can't handle knitting teeny tiny things like that. The chair doesn't look too bad.
No, I think the chair is manageable. Especially because it's all done in a sock weight, so that's not that hard to see.
So, and it's, the chair specifically is, like, basically I-cord and some rectangles.
Yeah, which is...
Color work, but
that's
I-cord
fine.
and rectangles.
Yeah. The next one is Elizabeth and Darcy meet at the Maiden Ball. The Maiden Ball, yeah. And for whatever reason, again, I want a Darcy, but any of the Darcys will do just fine. I just want a Darcy. But I really like Jane's dress in that scene. Like, it was just this really pretty little red dolly dress. I was like, yes.
Actually...
Is that red? No, it's not. That's not the red one.
That's not the red one.
No, the red one's later.
Yeah. I have a note in here somewhere about dresses. Oh, it's in fact on this one. That the dresses weren't really leaping out at me because they somehow seemed to lack something. They lacked, like, movement or a weightiness or something.
Oh, yeah. No, they look like basic generic doll dresses. Like, the men's clothes have a lot more of a period feel to them. Like, they definitely go, this is the character I'm identifying as 19th century. Whereas the dresses for the girl dolls are definitely a lot more...
They're nice, but...
generic dolly dresses.
There's some dresses later that
I like better? You like
yeah.
better? That's fair. Of the ones for the Pride and Prejudice section of the book, that was the Jane's dress was one I caught my eye. I did giggle at the chandelier.
I also giggled at the chandelier, but
No, I don't want to make it, but I giggled at it because that would be...
I put little hearts next to the fan and the evening bag.
Okay, those were also really cute. I don't know what I would do with a little tiny fan for a doll, other than, again, lose it, but...
The evening bag, I feel inspired to make a proper-sized real person evening bag.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Because I've seen in those old magazines that they scan into Google Books or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you can get patterns from this period out of magazines, and I've seen evening bag patterns, and they're just insanely complicated crochet and tiny little yarn.
Yep.
And I really want one.
Because crocheting granny squares hasn't caused you grief.
No, I want to crochet and I want to put beads on it.
Of course you do.
You know, I need to put more beads on things.
Oh, man. Alright, the next scene is Lydia and Wickham get married.
I have cape heart.
Cape heart? That'll be Lydia's cape.
Oh yes, that is Lydia's cape.
Mm-hmm.
It has a nice lacy texturiness to it, and it's got a little ruffly bit around the hood, and the hood is properly large and fits over the doll's head. And
yeah, that's a bonus.
It looks like it's weighted properly, I think. It looks like it moves properly given the scale of everything.
I like Darcy's waistcoat.
Oh yeah.
Going back to my Darcy obsession. I don't mind Wickham as a character. Like, I've obviously read the books and watched the movies and did the YouTube web series, and I'm a massive Jane Austen fan from all perspectives. But I really, of the Darcys, I think it's the Darcys from the Lydia gets married scene that would be the one that I would want to make.
Yeah, it's got some nice little texture going on there.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I mean, the vicar stuff's kind of cute, but...
I do also kind of like the little Bible.
The little Bible's kind of amusing in an enjoyable way, but I don't think those are not the characters that I'd want to make. Alright, next up we have Darcy proposes to Elizabeth again.
Alright, he proposes like...
Twice.
Twice?
Yep.
I thought it was 3 times.
Twice. He does it... No, he declares his love, then he doesn't propose the second time around. But he reiterates that he does love her. And
Right.
then he proposes the second time after the aunt has come to visit.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the bush. I like the topiary rose bush.
You want to knit a topiary rose bush?
Well, yes.
Okay, just checking.
It looks like a cone-shaped pom-pom in a cute little garter stitch pot.
It is true, that's exactly what it looks like. This scene is the scene for the cover page.
So it is. How did I not notice that?
It's your book. Of the Pride and Prejudice scenes, I think this would be the one where, if I was having both, if I was making both the dolls, this would be the scene I make. Not just for the topiary rose bush, though that would be something I would also create because it is kind of cute. With an armchair, for no reason.
Absolutely no reason.
Really need an armchair in that scene.
There can just be an armchair in the garden. It's fine.
God, it'll be fine. It's an outside lawn chair. All right. Woo. Emma paints a portrait of Harriet. We're on to a different book.
Woo. Yeah, we're now into the section of things where I didn't read these books.
Oh.
I've only read Pride and Prejudice. I have not read any of these other books. The scenes have no significance for me.
On the bright side, underneath the book title is actually a structure. So they give the structure of the scene and they tell you what book it's from. And then they give a little clip of the book and they tell you how the scene was inspired by the book and what scene it is that they're looking to do, which I found absolutely wonderful to read. Like, it was a really interesting way to see how they'd come about and had gotten their inspiration from the books themselves. So that'll help. So if you decide you like a scene, you know what book to go find it from. That's a bonus.
Yes.
This is the one where I liked the red dress.
I also like the red dress.
Yeah.
It flares out more at the bottom and it looks more properly...
It's got some life to it.
Yes. Also, bird bath! With bird!
I would have to do it at such a, like, sock weight dove bird and bird bath. And I'm reading this at Diana's apartment, and I was like, bird bath! I didn't wait. I know we're supposed to wait, and I had to, like, immediately exclaim about this bird bath. And I really want to make a bird bath. I have no reason for a knitted bird bath. It's going to happen. And yes, I'm going to have a matching dove. I might have to make it bigger for, larger sized birds. Maybe a flamingo wants to bathe in my bird bath. I don't know.
I want to
An
see...
albatross.
I want to see an albatross in this tiny little bird bath.
Oh my god, the knitted albatross
albatross
would be like 4 times bigger than the knitted bird bath.
It could just eat the bird bath.
Oh, whatever.
Sure.
I'm not going to be sizist on my bird bath. It's going to be big enough big birds can use it. That was the one where I liked that dress a lot. And obviously the bird bath and dove, which I felt was super necessary.
Well, there's also a cute little cat in this scene.
There is. The cat pops up a couple of times. I don't remember which scene they've got the pattern for it in, though.
Later.
Did you like anything else other than the dress and the bird bath?
That was pretty much just the dress and the bird bath. I'm also partial to that particular shade of red, so that might have had something to do with it.
That's totally fair. The next one is Emma insults Miss Bates at the Box Hill picnic.
There's a cake.
There is a cake.
I really like the little cake. I want a people-sized picnic blanket that they're sitting on.
I'm thinking, like, if you do the dolls, doing a doll-sized picnic thing would be good, but I agree. I think we need a people-sized picnic blanket in that sort of... We just need an adult-sized, people-sized picnic blanket and a reason to go to the not numerous number... In numerous number, there is a lot of parks in the village area. There's lots of green spaces and stuff, and you're really close to the ledge and stuff, and there's lots of places you can just go outside and have lunch.
There's just lots of green space in general in this city.
Which is
really nice.
Beautiful. I love it. So, nothing really caught my eye on that one. Like, I liked a lot of the stuff, but nothing said, you must knit me.
Aside from I want a people-size picnic blanket. Yeah.
Same. Don't get me wrong, it was cute, and if I was knitting them for little people, I would totally do all the bits and pieces because that's
you need
the
whole
point.
set.
Yeah, but not for myself.
Oh, I had another note on this one. This is about where I noticed that the Emma dresses that were both going, hey, these look better, call for cotton yarn rather than wool yarn.
Well, that'll make a huge world of difference.
I'm thinking maybe that makes them look a little bit weightier somehow.
Or it gives them more flow for the drape, given how small the doll is. Yeah,
But
that's fair.
It works better.
All right. Next up we have Wedding Bells for Emma and Mr. Knightley. I liked Mr. Knightley.
None of the men actually jumped out at me in this book.
I liked his suit. It just sort of went together well. Not enough that I'd knit him, because Emma's not one of my favorites, but it turned out... There was a couple that you would see that would be done, and it's just like, my brain was like, nope. There's nothing about this, but Mr. Knightley's not badly put together. Yeah. That seems awkward. He's a well put together man. He has a back and a front, 2 sides, and even a head. Oh, the inside jokes. Alright. The next one is Mr. Willoughby Rescues Marianne. I'm reading under magnifying glass, so I apologize. In the rain. Do you know what? I want a sheep.
Yeah.
I want the knitted sheep.
I want the stupid little sheep. I also really like the tiny little flowers on her dress. I like the dress again.
That's fair. The dress was, I mean, nothing wrong with it. It worked with the scene really well, but all I really want is that little sheep. I want a stuffed knitted sheep.
It's a pretty cute little sheep.
It is a cute little sheep.
If you use some slightly woolier yarn for the woolly bits.
Yeah, absolutely. Some sort of...
Also the texture on the skirt of, whose dress is that? Eleanor's dress.
Mm-hmm.
It's some kind of, it almost looks like scales from a distance, but I guess it's some kind of little slip stitch pattern.
Probably, but
it's a really nice texture from...
The dresses got better further along in the book.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I definitely, but yeah, no, out of that one, it's the sheep all the way. You have Colonel Brandon and Mr. Willoughby fight a duel. As sort of, if you take it away from the book, it's 2 little stuffed dudes having a sword duel. I want the 2 little stuffed dudes having a sword duel.
They're pretty cute. I
wouldn't necessarily name them, but I definitely need to. This is of all the patterns we've looked at so far, this is the one where I'm like, yes. Because on one of Mr. B's shelves, posed in with his other figures and stuff, I think that would be, like, I think that has to happen for him, and it would be
cute.
Super cute. I have no idea how I'm going to do the swords, but I think
the swords look like they're very, very tiny yarn.
Yep. So that's going to be...
The swords are amazingly well shaped for being
knitted,
tiny little yarn.
Knitted swords. They look definitively like swords, which is really cool.
They even have the little taper on the end and the proper like fencing guard and stuff. I'm really impressed with these stupid little swords.
And they've got the scene set up really nicely. So like in the photograph that they've taken, you've got that feel of action.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're mid doing something, which is really...
Related to that, the billowy dual shirts,
mm-hmm.
which are not the basic shirt pattern from the beginning of the book,
nope.
Are made in a very lightweight wool, so that you can sort of pose them and have the dramatic movement going, but the hold still for a picture. Yeah,
which super enjoy. So of all the scenes we've looked at so far, that's the one where I'm like, that and a Mr. Darcy.
You could have Mr. Darcy fight a duel.
What? Oh my god, I totally could! Oh, that's amazing. Alright. Where are we at? Anna and Captain Wentworth meet again at Upper Cross.
I just want to yell the word pianoforte! I don't want to make the pianoforte, I just like the word pianoforte.
You just want to yell the word pianoforte?
Pianoforte!
Oh my goodness. This is another one of the ones where the whole scene, I'm like, done.
This would look the curtains.
Super. I would not do the curtain, because again, I'm thinking as a decoration on one of my bookcases.
Yeah.
Like on the top of one of my bookcases, like that would just be super, super pretty. Also, as a side note, I played piano until I was late into my teen years, so...
I did not know that.
There you go. Learn something new every day.
I've never played piano.
I played piano for a long while, and that's fine. It's not a problem, but pianoforte! I feel like that's necessary in my life. I need a knitted pianoforte and a lady in a nice dress. And a dude watching her play. I think that's important. Curtain? Not so much.
I like the little lacy pattern on the curtain and the fact that it has teeny tiny little tassels.
Oh, you just like the teeny tiny little tassels.
Apparently, I like teeny tiny little tassels.
Alright, it's a thing. Okay, we have Sir Thompson interrupts rehearsals. Nothing about that grabbed me. The scene's well done, and just nothing about it jumped out.
I kind of like the stripy dress. Who's striped? Fanny's dress.
That's fair. That's a well done dress.
I like the stripes. I also like the color work on the rug.
Okay, that's cool.
The rug seems oddly tiny and maybe seems more lap blanket sized for the dolls. But the color work on it is kind of nice.
That's fair. All right, Catherine is caught snooping.
Snooping?
Mm-hmm.
I like the spider. It's a teeny tiny pom-pom with extra long leg bits.
What everyone's going to take away from this is you like tassels and little pom-poms.
I like tassels and pom-poms.
Got it. I understand. It's like the other ones. I'm like, I mean, the scene's well done, but it's not one of my favorite books. Doesn't really capture my attention quite the same way as like the fight scene does, or obviously, as we all now are aware, my Darcy obsession. So for me, it's a nice pattern, and if you're making it and you love the book, it'll go along just fine. None of the pieces are like weird or out of place. They all seem to work really well together, but none of it jumps out and goes, "Hey, knit me."
In the scene, I'm really meh about Catherine's shawl, but they have it spread out against a white background for the pattern thing on the next page.
It looks a lot better that way.
I want one in a me size.
Oh, jeez.
It's pretty.
Okay, that's totally fair. The last bit of the book is things like finishing techniques and your extra techniques, abbreviations, and that sort of stuff, and the index and stuff, which I really...
Like a half page on the finishing of the armchair from the first scene.
Oh, that armchair finishing. It's nice because they don't sort of just go, and then you finish it, and you're sort of... They give some enough instructions that you know what it is that you're attempting to do.
And they show you about fringe and duplicate stitch and grafting and French knots, which is really good because that's how you make the eyes. And I don't embroider. I don't know what a French knot is.
Yeah. No, I like how they've got the extra bits in there that you need to sort of wrap it all up and have it tie in without sort of assuming that you've got that knowledge under your belt. Though they do assume you know how to knit and purl, which is good because it's not a beginning book.
Very much not a beginning book.
Nope. Overall, what do you think?
Cute, but unlikely to make any of it anytime soon.
I'm sort of in the same category. Definitely worth looking at. I'd like to, but it's not on my immediate, I must make these list. It's sort of on my, you know what, at some point I will have these things because I like them and I think it would be something to do, but I'm not a massive knit doll person.
Yeah.
So.
On the other hand, I might try it and discover a sudden passion for knit dolls that I didn't know existed.
I sew a lot of stuffies for small children as baby shower gifts. And dollies and dolly clothes. So I'm good. I got the dolly thing covered. But I think it's sort of one of those random one-offs. I'd like a strange little odd project to keep myself amused or learn something new that I could definitely see myself making a pianoforte. Or an armchair.
Just want an armchair. I really love the armchair.
Be a good way to practice I-chord.
Yeah.
So, it could happen, but definitely worth checking out. And it was a cute little book. I really like it. I'm glad you got it as a present. But, with that, I'm out of tea.
As am I.
Well,
water.
So, I think that'll be good and we can wrap it up.
Do we have an outrow?
We do technically have an outrow.
I don't remember what it was. You wrote it.
And I don't think we have to worry about it. We can start podcast number 2 super professional and have an intro and an outro. What? And for today we can say goodbye and thank you for giving us a try.
Whee!